In this section, we will study about the classification of magnetic materials. We will also discuss Curie's law in magnetism and hysteresis loop. Finally, we will conclude this session with summary and worked example. All the topics discussed here are very important from the point of view of your examination. Please listen to this lecture very carefully and note down all the important points. Welcome once again. Classification of magnetic materials based on properties. The materials are classified into three categories based on the basis of atomic theory. Please see the figure on the right hand side. There are two figures, figure A and figure B. Figure A is for diamagnetic material and figure B is for paramagnetic material. Diamagnetic material. The materials, when placed in an external magnetic field, get feebly magnetized in the opposite direction of the field. These materials have the tendency to move away from the stronger magnetic to weaker part of the external magnetic field. See, for example, this is the diamagnetic material placed here in an uniform electric field, but because this has got tendency and it does not allow the magnetic flux lines to pass through and it gets diverted. Hence, these materials have the tendency to move away from the stronger magnetic to weaker part of external magnetic fields. Examples of diamagnetic materials are bismuth, copper, lead, silicon, nitrogen, water and sodium chloride. Paramagnetic materials. These are the materials which, when placed in a magnetic field, get feebly magnetized in the direction of the field. These materials have the tendency to move from weaker to stronger regions of magnetic field. So, these materials, when placed in a magnetic field, get feebly means weaker, magnetized, not so strong, not so weak, feebly. And these materials have the tendency to move from weaker magnetic field to stronger regions of magnetic field. So you please see these field lines are coming closer here inside the paramagnetic material. Ferromagnetic material. These materials, when placed in a magnetic field, get strongly magnetized. You please note, strongly magnetized in the direction of the field. They have the tendency to move from weak magnetic field to strong magnetic field. That is, they get strongly attracted towards a magnet. The individual atoms here in ferromagnetic material possess a dipole moment. These are the dipole moments possessed by ferromagnetic material. Please see this figure which I am showing. These are the magnetic dipoles which attract with one another in such a way. These magnetic poles are attracted by one another in such a way that they align themselves in a common direction. You see, please see this figure here bottom. Here they align along with the field. This is the direction of the external magnetic field and they align in the direction of strong magnetic field. This magnetic field is called domain, magnetic domain. Thus, in ferromagnetic material, the field lines are highly concentrated. Such materials are also called hard magnetic material like aluminum, cobalt, nickel, natural lodestone, etc. The properties of these magnetic materials have been tabulated in the table 5.8.1 and 5.8.2. Curie's law in magnetism. Curie law in magnetism, it says the magnetic susceptibility Xm or Xm of paramagnetic material is inversely proportional to its absolute temperature. That is, Xm is inversely proportional to T, or Xm proportional to 1 over T. If we substitute the proportionality by a constant C, this part becomes xtm into T equals C, where C is the Curie's constant. The ferromagnetic property depends on the temperature. At very high temperature, the domain structure disintegrates and ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic. The temperature transition from ferromagnetic to paramagnetic state is called the Curie temperature Tc. The susceptibility Xm above Curie temperature, that is paramagnetic phase, is given by the equation X is equal to C over T minus Tc, where T is is greater than Tc. Tc is the Curie temperature at which a ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic material. Curie temperature for iron is 1000 degree Kelvin. That is the absolute temperature. 1000 degree, very high temperature, it happens. For cobalt, it is 1400 degrees Kelvin, and for nickel, it is about 600 degree Kelvin. This is the graph of Kelvin temperature, Curie temperature versus the magnetization for intensity of magnetization. Let us study the properties of magnetic materials in detail. There are about 12 properties based on which we can compare or classify diamagnetic substances, paramagnetic substances, and ferromagnetic substances. The first property is strength of magnetism. It is given under serial number 1. Strength of magnetism. The strength of magnetism in diamagnetic material is feeble, that is very weak. In paramagnetic material also, the strength of magnetism is feeble, is midway between ferromagnetic and diamagnetic. But in the case of ferromagnetic substances, the strength of magnetism is strong. Please note here, strong. This is the main classification. That is, ferromagnetic substances have a very strong strength of magnetism. Direction of magnetism. The direction of magnetism is opposite in the diamagnetic substances. That is, if H is vertical, then the magnetizing intensity or the external field is pointing vertically up, the intensity of magnetization will be down, of magnetic material will be down. That is, H is opposite to M. Whereas the direction of magnetism in the case of paramagnetic substances is same. The direction is of H is vertical and M also is vertical. Similar is the case in the case of ferromagnetic material. Here H is also vertical and M is also vertical. Property number 3 is response to a magnet. When we take a magnet near a diamagnetic material, it repulses, it sends away. Whereas paramagnetic substance get attracted, feebly attracted, very weak field, and it gets weakly attracted. Whereas a ferromagnetic material, when we take a permanent magnet near a magnetic substance, it gets strongly attracted. Then property number 4, liquid form. Here, when we take an external field, magnetic liquid level dips, that is, it contracts. Whereas in the case of a paramagnetic substances, the liquid level rises. So the liquid is a diamagnetic substance here. Here also there is a paramagnetic material. Liquid is in the form of the paramagnetic material is in the form of a liquid. Hence, when we bring a magnet near to it, it rises. Whereas this one dips. There is no liquid form for ferromagnetic substances. Point number 5. Direction of axis. The diamagnetic substances have a perpendicular axis, whereas paramagnetic and ferromagnetic substances have the parallel direction of axis. Point number 6. Non-uniform magnetic field. When a diamagnetic material is put in a non-uniform magnetic field, moves towards a weaker field. And paramagnetic substance moves towards a stronger field slowly. It moves towards the paramagnetic material moves towards the stronger field slowly. Whereas the ferromagnetic substances moves towards a stronger field rapidly. Here you please see the speed with which the movement occurs. A paramagnetic material moves slowly towards the field, stronger field, whereas the ferromagnetic material moves very fast. Property number 7, permeability. We will see what is the permeability, absolute permeability and relative permeability of diamagnetic substance. The permeability of diamagnetic substance is less than 1, whereas relative permeability is also less than 1. Whereas in case of paramagnetic material, mu, that is permeability constant, is greater than 1. Relative permeability is also greater than 1. But in case of ferromagnetic material, it is very high, far greater than 1. And relative permeability is also more than 1. Point number 8, susceptibility. The parameter susceptibility has been defined and explained in detail in the previous section, that is in section 5a. Xi m for diamagnetic substances is between -1 and 0. It is between -1 and 0. It is between -1 and 0. Whereas in the case of paramagnetic substances, it is small. It is between 0 and epsilon. Whereas in the case of ferromagnetic substances, the susceptibility constant Xi m is far greater than 1. That is, it is large and positive. Point number 9. This property is related to Curie's law, and it is very important so far as magnetic materials are concerned. Curie's law, that is, Xm is proportional to 1 over T. Here we have to see whether the magnetic materials obey Curie's law or not. The diamagnetic material substance does not obey Curie's law. That is, it says, I am not responding to in temperature. That means it does not obey Curie's law of independent of temperature. Paramagnetic substances obey Curie's law. Whereas the ferromagnetic obeys to such an extent that it becomes a permanent magnet. When temperature is increased, it becomes a permanent magnet, paramagnet. See, there is a conversion from ferromagnet to paramagnet in Curie's law. Magnetic lines of force farther than in air, that is, it is widespread. It is far off. One line is far, it has got lot of distance. In paramagnetic substances, it is closer than air. In ferromagnetic substance, it is much closer. That means magnetic lines of force are much closer in ferromagnetic substances. Resultant magnetic moment. The magnetic moment is zero in diamagnetic material, whereas the magnetic moment is permanent for both paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. Motion of electrons. In diamagnetic substances, the motion is orbital, and paramagnetic substance, it is spin. And here it not only spins but it forms a domains. So we have seen the properties of magnetic materials. Hysteresis curve. Please see the diagram on the right hand side. The loop here, it is a blue colored, is a loop, a graph H, that is magnetizing field versus magnetized field B, flexible field intensity, magnetic field intensity, Ri, intensity of magnetization. This is a curve between the two parameters. A plot of magnetizing field intensity H versus intensity of magnetization. This is the intensity of magnetization and this is magnetic field intensity. This is called H and this is BRI. It is also called BH curve. In ferromagnetic materials is called hysteresis loop. This is applicable for ferromagnetic material. This curve has 5 parts. Part number 1. This is 0 to A. Intensity of magnetization increases with H till saturation is reached at A. As we increase H, the I also increases and it reaches saturation. I or P reaches saturation at certain point. This is part OA. Part AB, that is, now when it has reached saturation, we will reduce the current. When we reduce the current, it comes back to point B. It follows the path AB. AB as as H is decreased to 0, see here H becomes 0. At 0, the magnetic field intensity is I. I is at point B. So iron core is magnetized. Here B is not 0, H is 0. H is 0, B is not 0. The iron core is magnetized even though there is no current. Current is 0, but the material remains a magnet. This is a permanent magnetism. That means it is permanently magnetized. The residual magnetism I is equal to OB is called the retentivity. Here the value of I is equal to given by OB and it is called, this is the retentivity. Then point number 3, part number 3. Part number 3 is B to D. This is the part number 3, B to T. Here the current H was 0 and we are reversing the current. We are moving toward the negative. This is in the negative region. To bring I to 0, that is to demagnetize the material, reverse current is negative. So our intention is to bring the magnetism to 0 or demagnetize it. We have to reverse the current. Hence, the B decreases. The B decreases here, and OC is called coercivity. OC is called coercivity. We will define coercivity in the next paragraph. Now we have reached the point D. Now we have reduced the current to minus value, and hence we will increase the current. We will increase, and again we will increase the current from this point because this has reached saturation. We will increase here current. We go on increasing till the point E is reached here, and HO is equal to OE. H is equal to 0, here H is equal to 0 and I is equal to minus OE. Then again we increase the current from positive. It reaches the point F and it ends at point A. That is, we started with 0 and A have reached up to a saturation point A. Then we reverse the current minus in the reverse direction. It reaches saturation D, and again from D we started increasing the magnetizing, that is magnetizing field intensity, and we increase and we reach the point A. Therefore, this is a curve in this direction. A, B, C, D, E, F, A is the shape of the hysteresis curve. The loop A, B, C, D, E, F and A is called the hysteresis loop. The area of loop gives the loss of energy. The area of loop gives the loss of hysteresis is nothing but a hysteresis loss, and it is dissipated as heat. Hence, the loop A, B, C, D, E, F, A is called the hysteresis loop or BH curve. The area of the loop gives the loss of energy due to cycle of magnetization and demagnetization. This is nothing but a process of magnetization and demagnetization, and it is the energy is dissipated as heat. Now we will study, we have just mentioned about retentivity or residual magnetism or remanence flux density. OB in the figure, it is the property of magnetism in material is retained even after removing the magnetic field. That is, OB is the retentivity even though H, the value of H here is 0. So retentivity is OB in the diagram. Coercivity. Coercivity, the reverse magnetizing intensity required to completely demagnetize the material. Here residual magnetism was there and we had to remove it. We remove it by reversing the current H, field intensity, by reversing here it is reversed. OC is the coercivity. Permanent magnets. Permanent magnets are the substances which retain their ferromagnetic property for a long time at room temperature. Very strong permanent magnets can be made by materials which are having high retentivity, coercitivity and permeability. So, by studying the characteristic curves of hysteresis BH, we can make permanent magnets. Cores of transformers, that is electrical transformers, telephone diaphragms, generators and motors are magnetized and demagnetized number of times when alternating current flows through them. Alternating currents are flowing through transformers, telephone diaphragms, generators and motors. These are magnetized and demagnetized number of times due to alternating current flowing through them. Hysteresis loss. The energy dissipated in the core in the form of a heat during each cycle is called hysteresis loss and is proportional to the area of hysteresis curve. That is, the energy is dissipated in the form of heat in each cycle, and this dissipation of heat energy is called hysteresis. Hence, the hysteresis of curve of such core materials must be narrow. If you want to reduce the losses, then the area of this one, it should be very narrow. The area of this curve should be small and it should be very narrow or thin. Let us summarize the discussions held in the chapter number 5. Magnetic materials tend to point towards north and south direction. Like poles repel and unlike poles attract. When we cut a bar magnet, we get two smaller magnets, and magnetic poles cannot be isolated. When a bar magnet of dipole moment M is placed in a magnetic field, a bar magnet is dipole, force on it is 0 and torque is given by the relationship tau is equal to M cross B and its potential energy is minus MB. Magnetic field due to a bar magnet of length L and magnetic moment M at a distance from its midpoint is given by mu naught M divided by 2 pi r cube along the axis, and B is equal to minus mu naught M by 4 pi r cube along the equator. This is the equation for the magnetic moment and flux density, magnetic field. Gauss law for magnetism states that the net magnetic flux through any closed surface is 0. And it is given by the equation phi b is equal to sigma b dot delta s. That is, phi b through any closed surface is 0. The Earth magnetic field resembles that of a magnetic dipole located at the center of the Earth. The geographic North Pole is equal to North magnetic pole but slightly deflected. The geographical South Pole is also equal to the South magnetic pole. The dipole is aligned at a small angle to the rotation axis of the Earth. The magnetic magnitude of the field on Earth's surface is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. So, Earth resembles a huge magnetic dipole located at the center of the Earth. Three quantities are needed to specify the magnetic field of the Earth on its surface. These three elements are horizontal component, number 1, number 2, the magnetic declination, and number 3, magnetic dip. These are known as the elements of Earth's magnetic field. Magnetic intensity H is defined as H is equal to vector H is equal to vector B naught over mu naught. The magnetization M is its dipole moment per unit volume. Therefore, B naught vector is equal to mu naught into H plus M. For linear material, B is equal to Xi H. That is, Xi is called the magnetic susceptibility of the material. B is equal to mu H, and mu is equal to mu naught into mu R, and mu R is equal to 1 plus Xi. These are the relationship for the linear magnetic material. So I will repeat this. B is equal to Xi H. Xi is called the magnetic susceptibility. B is equal to mu into H, and mu is equal to mu naught into mu R, and mu R itself is equal to 1 plus Xi. Magnetic materials are broadly classified as diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic materials. For diamagnetic material, Xi, that is susceptibility, is negative and small. For paramagnetic materials, Xi is positive and small. For ferromagnetic materials, Xi is very large and is characteristic by non-linear relation between B and H. They show property of hysteresis. That is, the ferromagnetic materials have a non-linear relationship between B and H shown by the hysteresis curve. Substances which at room temperature retain their ferromagnetic properties for a long period of time are called permanent magnets. Comparison of symbols, units and dimensions of physical quantities. Permeability of free space. It is represented by symbol mu naught. It is a scalar quantity and its dimensions are ml t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 2, and its unit is tm a to the power of minus 1. And the value of mu naught is, numerical value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. Magnetic field, magnetic induction and magnetic field density B, symbol B. Therefore, nature is vector. B is a vector. B is called magnetic field, magnetic induction and magnetic flux density. All the three different names we call it, but the symbol is B. Where it is a vector product and its dimensions are m into t to the power of minus 1, a to the power of minus 1, and t is Tesla. Its value is 10 to the power of Gauss, that is equal to 1 Tesla. Magnetic moment, it is represented by a symbol small m, vector. It is a vector, L to the power of minus 2 a. Therefore, its unit is a meter square. Magnetic flux, phi. Magnetic flux is phi and it is a scalar. Its dimensions are ml square t to the power of minus 2 a to the power of minus 1, and its unit is Weber. 1 Weber is equal to Tm square. Tesla meter square. Magnetization. Magnetization is represented by capital M. It is a vector. Its unit is L to the power of minus 1 into A. Its unit is A m to the power of minus 1. That is, it is nothing but magnetic moment per volume. So, M is the magnetic moment per volume. Magnetic intensity or magnetic field strength. Its symbol is H. It is a vector quantity and its dimensions are L to the power of minus 1 into A within brackets. Its unit is ampere per meter. The relationship between magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density is B is equal to mu naught into H plus M, where H is the magnetic field intensity, M is the magnetization, and B is the magnetic flux density or magnetic induction, and mu naught is the permeability of free space. Magnetic susceptibility. It is represented by the symbol Xi. Sometimes in some of the books they have mentioned it as X and sometimes C also, but in NCERT syllabus we are using the symbol Xi only. It is a scalar quantity. It has no dimensions and no units. Relationship between magnetic susceptibility is M is equal to X Xi into H. That is, M is magnetization and H is magnetic intensity. Relative magnetic permeability is mu r. It is scalar, no dimensions, no units. It is the relationship with B is equal to mu naught mu r H. These relationships we will be using in solving numerical problems. Finally, we will see the magnetic permeability mu. Mu is a scalar quantity. Its dimensions are m, l, t to the power of minus 2, a to the power of minus 2. You see here, the magnetic permeability dimensions is same as permeability of free space. It is given by Tm a to the power of minus a 1. Here it is mu is equal to mu naught mu r, and it is also given by B is equal to mu h. These are the different relationships. Please go through and study in detail and note down and remember their relationship with one another. It will help you in solving numerical problems. Worked examples. Example 1. A short bar magnet placed at 30 degrees with a uniform magnetic field of 0.25 Tesla experiences a torque of magnitude equal to 4.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. I will read once again. A short bar magnet placed at 30 degrees with a uniform magnetic field of 0.25 Tesla experiences a torque of magnitude equal to 4.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. And the question is, what is the magnitude of magnetic moment of the magnet? Please go through this question once again. You please read yourself and note down. Solution. The angle is given as 30 degrees. That is, theta is equal to 30 degrees. B is equal to 0.25 Tesla. And tau torque is given as 4.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. We have to find the magnitude of the magnetic moment. Therefore, tau is equal to mb sin theta. Therefore, from this equation, we rearrange the factors in such a way that m comes on the left side and the remaining on the right side, so that we can substitute their values easily. So right side is tau divided by b sin theta. Hence these values have been substituted and calculation. It is calculated as m is equal to 0.36 joules per Tesla. Example number 2. A closely wound solenoid of 800 turns and area of cross section of 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter square carries a current of 3 amps. Part A. Explain the sense in which the solenoid acts as a bar magnet. What is the associated magnetic moment? And part B is, if the solenoid is free to turn about the vertical direction and a uniform horizontal magnetic field of 0.25 Tesla is applied, what is the magnitude of torque on the solenoid when its axis makes an angle of 30 degrees with the direction of applied field? So you please study and think for some time, and then we will take up the solution. Solution. Given n is equal to 800 tons, area of cross section is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter square. It is straight away given in meter square, so conversion is not required, and I is given as 3 amps. Magnetic moment we know is given by the formula M is equal to NIA. You have to remember it. Therefore, we will substitute the values of M. M is equal, we will calculate the value of M by substitution. N is 800 into 3 amps into 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 4, that is equal to 0.6 joules per Tesla. Solenoid acts as a bar magnet. We have proved it in theory. M is along the axis of the solenoid. That is magnetic moment is along the axis of the solenoid. The direction is determined by the sense of current. In part B, given is B is equal to 0.25 Tesla, theta is equal to 30 degrees, so tau is equal to what? Therefore, tau is equal to mb sin theta. This formula you have to remember. Hence, the formula which you have to remember is given in blue color. You please remember it and then substitute the values. Therefore, tau is equal to 0.6 into 0.25 into sin 30. So that is, the calculation comes 7.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. We will take up example number 5. A closely wound solenoid of 2000 turns and cross section area 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meters square, carrying a current of 4 amps, is suspended through its center, allowing it to turn in a horizontal plane. What is the magnetic moment? What is its force and torque if horizontal magnetic field of 7.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 Tesla is set up at an angle of 30 degrees with axis of solenoid? Please go through this question again yourself and note down the given items. Then we will work out. Let us solve. Solution. Given number of turns is n is equal to 2000 turns. Area of cross section A is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus meter square. It is given in meter square, so there is no question of converting it to some other value. And current is given as 4 amps here. So 3 items are given. Number of turns 2000, area of cross section 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 4, and current as 4 amps. So we are required to find out what is the magnetic moment M. M is given by the formula M is equal to NIA. It is given in blue color. You have to remember it. Therefore, it is given by 2000 into 4 into 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 4. That is equal to 1.28 amperes meter square. The direction of M is along the axis of the solenoid in the sense of current via the right hand rule. To find out the direction of magnetic moment, we have to apply Fleming's right hand rule. Given B is equal to 7.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 Tesla. It is given here. The part B says what is its force and torque if horizontal field of 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 is set up at an angle 30 degrees with axis. Magnetic field here. Theta is equal to 30 degrees. Tau is equal to what? We have to find out force. And then sine 30. We know the angle is given as 30 and we should know sine 30 is equal to half. From our knowledge of trigonometry, we know sine 30 is equal to half. The magnetic field is given to be uniform. Hence, force is 0. And we know when in a uniform field, the magnetic force is 0. But we have torque. Torque is not 0. It is given by mb sin theta. It is given in blue color. mb sin theta. You have to remember it. Therefore, tau is equal to substituting the values of magnetic moment, electric field intensity, and theta. We get this is the value 0.048 joules. Example 6. The Earth's magnetic field at equator is 0.4 G, 0.4 Gauss. Estimate the Earth's dipole moment. Radius of Earth is given as 6.4 into 10 to the power of 4 meters. Radius of Earth is given as 6.4 into 10 to the power of 4 meters. Mu naught by 4 pi is equal to 10 to the power of minus 7. It is given in this. Solution. Please read the question once again yourself and note down. I will give some time. The equatorial magnetic field BE is given by BE is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into m over r cube. This is the formula. You please remember this formula for solving this problem. Therefore, from this equation, we will bring m on one side and all other parameters on the right side. Hence, m becomes m is equal to BE. This BE retained as it is into 4 pi r cube. This goes cross multiplying. It goes to the numerator of one side divided by mu naught. Therefore, this is 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. Into 6.4 into 10 to the power of 4. And then it becomes and R is 6.4 into 10 to the power of 4. 6.4 into 10 to the power R cube. Here we have got parameter R cube. So R is 6.4 whole cube into 10 to the power of 4 whole cube. This is written here 6.4 whole cube 10 to the power of 4 whole cube divided by mu naught is we have written mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. So 4 pi gets cancelled and we will write 4 into 10 to the power of minus. We are calculating the value as we have calculated the value of M, that is Earth's magnetic dipole moment, as 1.05 into 10 to the power of 23 ampere meter square. Example number 4. A bar magnet of magnetic moment 1.5 joules per Tesla lies aligned with the direction of uniform magnetic field of 0.22 Tesla. A. What is the amount of work required by an external torque to turn the magnet so as to align its magnetic moment? Number 1. Normal to the direction, field direction, and number 2. Opposite to the field direction. And part B is what is the torque for section A part 1 and section A part 2. Solution. M is equal to 1.5 joules per Tesla. It is given here. And B is equal to 0.22 in Tesla. It is also given. Both the parameters have been given. So we will calculate the work required to turn the magnet normal to the field is given by the equation W is equal to work done is equal to minus mb into cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. That equals W is equal to minus mb. That is, we are turning it normal means perpendicular 90 degrees. So theta 2 is 90 degrees and theta 1 is 0 degrees. That is, from 0 degrees to 90 degrees we are turning it. So therefore, cos 0 is minus 1. So minus into minus becomes plus. Therefore, that becomes 1.5 into 0.222. Cos 90 is 0. 0 minus 1. Minus into minus becomes plus. So this is MB. The work done is MB equal to 1.5 into 0.22. That is equal to 0.33. Part A, question A, part 2. The question says opposite to the field direction. That is, initially the angle was 0. Now it is opposite, means it has made total 180 degrees. Therefore, the theta 2 here will be 180 degrees. Therefore, W is given by W is equal to minus MB cos 180 degrees minus cos 0. That is equal to cos 0 is minus 1 minus cos 0 is 1 minus 1 cos 180 is minus 1 minus is minus 2. So minus 2 MB. That is equal to this is 1 and this is 1. So this becomes 2 into MB, 2 into 1.5 into 0.22. That is equal to, calculating, it becomes the value is 0.66. Part B. What is the torque for equation 1 and equation, that is case 1 and case 2. 1, it is theta is equal to 90 degrees here, case 1 90 degrees. Therefore, tau is given by mb sin theta. You have to remember this equation. Hence, it is given in blue color. Please note down and remember. Substitute the values. It is simple values. It is equal to m is 1.5, b is 0.22 into sin 90. Sin 90 is 1. Therefore, it becomes 0.33 joules. So, case 2 is opposite to the field direction. That is, theta is equal to 180 degrees. Here again, the same equation, tau is equal to mb sin theta. That is given by sin 0, cos sin 0 is 0. Therefore, it is 1.5 into 0.22 into sin 180 is 0. Therefore, the torque is 0 in case 2. Example 5. Please read it carefully. With this, we come to the conclusion of chapter 5 on magnetism and matter. Please go through all the important points discussed in the chapter section 5a and 5b and note down all the points. We have taken up very simple numerical examples wherein we have to remember the formula and simply substitute the given parameters to find out the unknown parameters. Please remember all the formulae used in the section. In the next class, we will study about electromagnetic induction given under chapter 6 of the syllabus. In the next chapter, we will study about magnetic flux, Faraday's law, motional EMF, inductors and inductance, mutual inductance, AC generators, summary and worked example. Please come prepared and we will have a detailed study about electromagnetic induction. Thank you.